Between 1911 and 1912, it goes without saying that the Valorian Socialist Republic went through some abrupt and radical changes in government personnel. The explosion at Crystal Castle had taken out, in one fell swoop, the Minister of Food Production, the Minister of Urban Construction, the Minister of Charms and Curses, the Minister of Alien Affairs, the Minister of Employment, and the Minister of Unemployment, just to name a few. Equally notable, some months later, was the VSR's Prime Minister, Boniface Laroche. In November of 1911, he announced he would be stepping down in the new year after he was diagnosed with a rare and aggressive form of tuberculosis that wasn't responding to treatment. In sharp contrast, Commander Klaus Holzmann was thriving.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Based on his personal correspondences, Holzmann was, in his private life, a staunch atheist. However, he still maintained appearances in public, occasionally attending services and taking confession at St. Etienne's of Crystal City on Rue de Courtine. This was the parish of Father Gabriel Rettig, an adept healer to whom Holzmann privately referred as the only member of the clergy he had ever respected.
I spoke with Laroche this morning. The doctors aren't optimistic. The disease has been mysteriously unresponsive to treatment.
And it will continue to be so. I've been working on a new delayed-action version of the curse. The resorts they won't do him any favors.
You have a brilliant way with punishment, Rettig. You're wasted in the clergy.
I'm not sadistic. I'm thorough. I only do what I need to, as the situation calls for it. Any sins you want to get off your chest while I have you, Commander?
You know how I feel about sharing sensitive information.
Always so determined to keep me from doing my job. One day I'll get you to confess to something.
How is Kruger holding up? Have you had a chance to visit him?
Yes, he's young, and he's got a lot of fight left in him. By the grace of the Almighty, he's responded very well to regenerative necromancy.
Good. He's an excellent sniper. The Omni would miss him a great deal. Before I leave, Father Gabriel.
Yes, Commander.
I pulled a shoulder muscle on the firing range today.
I can take care of that, easily.
Thank you.
God be with you.
If you say so. Afternoon, Margot.
Klaus.
I've got 30 minutes. Shall I accompany you on your walk?
30 minutes? I'm surprised you're giving yourself that long. It was 10 last week.
Handing the search for the Kingmaker over to Inspector Zanetti has freed up a lot of my time.
Time that you'll lose again once you're president. Even if Rettig agrees with you, I think you might be jumping the gun. I know Tirpitz is in full support. We've got Germany on our side, but you still don't have...
The Kingmaker? That's incidental. With any luck...
It won't be a violent transfer of power. The guns are just a contingency.
Do you know how I feel about you reading my mind, Margot?
Klaus, have you ever considered...
Starting a party and running for office? That's uncharacteristically optimistic of you. Elections do nothing. If they did, they'd be illegal. No, we might as well be a monarchy again. 25 years, and the only time we've had a new president was after Gerard died and Martin went to prison for killing him.
Then 15 solid years of Rothbard.
Right. We get to play act like we get a hand in how it's run, but it's all just a performance. Democracy claims to represent the people, but nobody in politics really works to get where they are. Votes can be bought, people can be manipulated.
They sure can. And I'd be out of a job if they couldn't be.
You really are, just like...
Just like Dad, I know. He'd be rolling in his grave to see you spending so much time in a church.
At roughly the same time, Aya, Winterlich and co. were still in Zurich, largely unaware of the Prime Minister's deteriorating health. Their focus through most of the month of November was a man by the name of Gustav van Amstel, the youngest and least intelligent son of Dutch shipping magnate Kees van Amstel. From an early age, Gustav had rejected the idea of going into the family business with his brothers, and resolved to make a fortune on his own. The fact that all of his attempts had failed so far did not deter him. After investing the contemporary equivalent of £50,000 into establishing a phrenology training school, and the equivalent of £2 million to finance an unsuccessful expedition to the Hollow Earth, Gustav had decided to shift his focus to the world of sport. Specifically, he was going to spend the last dregs of his inheritance setting up a new venture, crossbreeding horses with greyhounds to create what he believed would be the ultimate racing animal. A venture suspected by many of his contemporaries to actually be a way of living out some kind of perverse sexual fantasy. This, of course, remains open to historical interpretation. His first purchase was to be Golden Boy, an Taqi of exceptional pedigree, which had been generously offered to him by two men whom he believed were the Prince of Belgium and the Nizam of Hyderabad.
There we are. I spent far too long on them, but here are the horse's pedigree papers. These should be plenty enough to fool our friend Mr. Van Amstel into believing it actually exists.
Oh, you didn't need to go to all that trouble, believe me. I've been writing letters back and forth with him for 2 fucking weeks. The man's a fucking twit.
Well, it never hurts to be thorough. Now, time is of the absolute essence here. We need to make sure we show up to the club at the exact time we agreed on, to coincide with Jenny's train.
The plan was a fairly standard faux arrest double swindle, where Jenny would be playing a police officer who would reveal Telesphore and Eisen's identities and claim the horse had been stolen, but would then accept a bribe from the mark to allow the sale to continue anyway. It was a plan that Aya and Winterlich had performed many times before, to varying degrees of success.
Colette?
You make the vest and trousers first.
Colette, are you with us?
Oh, yeah. I'm just hemming the sleeve on this police uniform. Wouldn't it have been easier if Jenny got the train in yesterday and spent the night?
She would have, but she had an audition in Vienna that she couldn't miss.
Her exact words were, in fact, "I would rather lose my other arm."
Apparently she got an auspicious omen when reading her fortune recently. And you can't ask a performer to defy a good omen. They're highly superstitious people.
God knows what you had to promise her to get her to come out on such short notice.
Entree.
Stupid push. Not pull. Hello, I'm here.
Hey, Maria. What's the best way to make a coat last?
Prime Minister's dead?
You make the weight. Really?
Yeah, he died last night. It's in this morning's paper. Oh, Colette, I'm so sorry. Were you saying something?
I was trying to tell you a joke. Feels like the wrong time for it now, though.
Which country's Prime Minister?
Yours. Ours. VSR.
You're kidding. La Roche?
Yep.
Get the fuck, man.
Have some respect for the dead, Eisen.
Not when they're people I used to work for, I won't. Here, when you got the paper this morning, did you save me the cartoons?
You know it. Oh, and you've got a telegram. It's a bit creased, sorry. But there it is.
Thank you kindly. She says, switching platforms at Basel, stop. Should be there by noon, stop. XOXO smooches Jenny, stop. Oh, I hope she never stops.
Jenny? Oh, that must be the famous actress/opera singer, ex-girlfriend you told me so much about, Eddie, who definitely isn't fictional.
She isn't. She's real. There are photos of us together. I just, I can't find them.
Yeah, all right, mate, pull the other one. What was the joke?
Oh, no. It was stupid.
No, come on. Tell me. I like jokes.
Okay. What's the best way to make a trousers? I mean, how do you make, No, I'll just screw it up. I'll tell you tomorrow.
All right. Well, feel free to come around any time.
I'll make you regret saying that. Not in a creepy way. I meant because then I'll just come over all the time and you'll get sick of me.
That's doubtful. Well, I'll see all you reprobates later. Lower than I thought it. I'm alright. Bye.
Bloody hell, well that was tough to watch. Here, you done with that costume yet, Diamond Head?
Meanwhile, a few miles north, at a cafe in Stein am Rhein, the proprietress was about to receive a visit.
Good boy. Follow the scent.
Faran Zanetti, prior to his promotion to Chief Inspector, was a close friend of the Minister of Incarceration, who had personally recommended him to the Crystal City Police Director as the new Chief of Police. Zanetti was excellent at what he did, and was widely known as a man who would go to great lengths to reach his goal. He was a graduate of Sagittarius University, who had majored in criminal law and minored in spatial manipulation.
Afternoon, sir. Oh, haven't seen you around here before. Welcome to Stein am Rhein. Are you just passing through, or can I get you a hot chocolate? And maybe a bone for that dog of yours.
Easy, Admiral. That won't be necessary, thank you.
That is a very, very big dog. I think I'd rather that he stayed over there, if you don't mind. What's the breed?
Valorian Elfhound. They were originally bred to take down mantelopes, you know. Incredible noses on these things. Fantastic jaw strength, too.
Oh, so you're a hunter.
Well, sort of. Chief Inspector Zanetti, Crystal City Police. I'm tracking a trio of fugitives. Had any groups of 3 come through here?
Oh, I don't know. I'd have to really think. So many people come through.
Admiral, shush. Sorry, he gets excited when I interrogate people. Now, my suspects would have come through on the 30th of September. 2 males, one average height, dark skin, walked with a limp, had an accent. The other was tall, heavy-set, red hair, probably wearing sunglasses. The third one could have been dressed as a woman or a man, slim build, pale skin, big brown eyes.
Sounds familiar. I think maybe I did see them. They were arguing about something. That would have been the day that the big storm came through.
Did you hear where they were headed?
Well, I really don't know. I had a lot of customers that day.
This was when Zanetti employed his favorite tactic, using magic to alter the space between himself and his subject.
I said keep that dog away from me.
He's staying where he is, ma'am. He's a good boy. The room is simply getting smaller. I can stop at any time you like.
Zurich! I think one of them said Zurich.
Thank you very much. And on second thought, maybe I will get a hot chocolate to go.
Winterlich and Co. had no way of preparing themselves for what was going to happen next, as they set their plan in motion.
And remember, it's the White Rhinoceros Club.
Got it.
Ooh, I'm excited about this job. I've missed pretending to be rich.
Aye, me too.
Almost as much as I missed seeing you at the Kale Regatta this summer, old boy. Was it trouble with the yacht again?
Of course not, darling. It's just these damned contractors we've got working on the new summer palace. The construction foreman stepped on the tail of one of my favorite peacocks. Oh, I was inconsolable for days, darling, I tell you.
Oh, that's just like what happened when I was remodeling that Parisian apartment I keep for my extramarital affairs. They ordered the wrong type of marble for the countertops, and it simply did not match the aesthetic we were going for.
Don't you just hate being wealthy?
Oh, utterly, but we carry the burden of our station with grace.
Welcome to the White Rhinoceros Club. May I take your coat, sir?
Gentlemen, your highnesses. Over here! I've already taken the liberty of selecting a box of Padron Parejos and a bottle of Cognac for us.
See what I mean? What a fucking twit.
Stop, you'll make me feel sorry for him. Van Amstel, my good man, thank you so much for meeting us.
Ha! Big night last night?
As he often had to wear sunglasses to disguise his unusual eye color, Telesphore was very used to comments of this nature. Most people who met him outside of the VSR assumed that he was either blind or a raging alcoholic.
Not as big as some others. Zurich is a lovely city to do business, but it's sorely lacking in the nightlife department. You really must invite me up to Amsterdam sometime for a spot of debauchery.
Let's focus on the business at hand first, though, right? But I've been excited to do this for quite a while, you know? You are a true modern businessman, Mr. Van Amstel. I know most people would say that only a pervert would try to cross a horse with a greyhound, but they also used to say the Earth was flat. Look at us now.
Yes, that's exactly what I've been saying.
Meanwhile, Colette was at the train station, dressed in a white walking suit and a blonde wig. Key in hand, she weaved through a bevy of midday commuters and headed for left luggage.
Yes, hello. I'm Dr. Chevalier. I am a horse surgeon. I studied for 10 years at Cambridge.
Admiral Heel. Sorry, miss. He's a big softy, really. Just don't make any sudden movements. He's an elfhound. The breed has a very strong prey drive.
You're Valorian?
We just drove in from Crystal City. Are you a local?
Yes.
Good. I'm looking for some people.
Colette did her best to maintain her composure as the strange man proceeded to show her photos of Eisen, Telesphore, and lastly, herself.
Who are they?
Just some people who I need to get in contact with.
I don't think I've seen them, sorry. Oh, that's my train. Bye.
Thanks for your help. Admiral, follow the scent.
Madam, excuse me, madam, I'm sorry, but are you...
Yes, darling, of course. And normally I'd be happy to sign something, but I'm in a bit of a hurry.
Are you the person who was in seat 4B?
Oh, yes. That was me.
You dropped a glove, I'm afraid.
Thank you. You're very kind. Give me that.
Jenny! Jenny! Over here! Sorry, I just have to. Sorry. Oh, sorry, would you just... Out of my way!
Ah, Colette. Just in time. Be a dear and help with my case.
Oh, okay. So, hi, Jenny. Did you have a good trip?
Oh, don't get me started. No, as a matter of fact, I didn't. But, poor service aside, I at least had some time to memorize my monologue. You know, when I gave myself a reading earlier in the week, the bones landed in a very good quadrant for creative success. Then, wouldn't you know it, I've gone from no contact with my agent in 5 years to having 3 auditions lined up. And I am ready. Just listen to this. The Raven himself is hoarse.
I'm so sorry to interrupt, but Eisen and Telesphore are in serious trouble.
Of course they are. Water is wet, the sky is blue, etc. What sort of trouble this time?
A guy just stopped me and asked if I'd seen them lately. He had a big, scary dog with him. I think he's working with Holzmann.
You have quite the talent for collecting enemies, you know. Here, let's walk. Hand me the costume and I'll briefly excuse myself to get into character.
Shouldn't we change the plan?
Not in the slightest. Not yet, anyway. Just go to the club, subtly let the boys know what's happened, and we'll improvise from there.
And when they went into the cave to retrieve his body, it turns out the tunnel just ended. So we were in the wrong place. Obviously. But that's when it hit me. Maybe we were wrong about the Hollow Earth. Maybe Hollow Moon.
Yes. You know, some would say you sound absolutely insane with this. I mean, really, most people would wonder if you'd been dropped on your head as a child. But I disagree. I think if one is true, then the other must be as well. That's just solid logic, you know what I mean? And that is what you need to invest in next, because I really do think we're only 10 years away from putting people up there.
Oh, definitely. But let's not run before we can crawl.
Right, of course. Gustav, as you requested, we have called on Dr. Chevalier, a trusted veterinarian and horse breeding expert, to verify all of Golden Boy's papers in front of you, to show that we're being completely, undoubtedly truthful.
Then, once the good doctor has confirmed everything, we'll arrange for Golden Boy to be sent from the stable in Brussels directly to you.
So you co-own the horse, but you keep him in Belgium?
That's correct.
I simply didn't have the room for him at Chow Mahala. We've got more horses than we know what to do with. And that's why Leopold graciously agreed to house him. Golden Boy was a favourite of his first wife, truth be told.
Yes, Astrid did so love that horse. But since her tragic death in that boating accident, I haven't been able to bear the sight of him. Too many painful memories.
And that's such a shame, darling, because he's such a handsome animal.
Ma'am, I'm sorry, this club is gentlemen only.
I'm a horse surgeon. I'm with them.
Dr. Chevalier, come take a seat.
You seem a little shaken up, Doctor. Is something wrong?
No. Sorry, I had to run here. I just got out of emergency horse surgery. Before I can look at the papers, I have to tell you.
Sorry, you're the veterinarian?
Yes?
The doctor is a woman?
More or less. That's not going to be a problem, is it?
We'll see. What are your qualifications?
I studied for 10 years in Vienna. Then after that, I lived with a colony of wild horses in the Australian outback for another 10 years, doing intense practical study.
But you can't be a day over 25.
Working with horses has kept me young. What type of mare are you planning on covering with Golden Boy when the ownership is transferred?
Ah, yes. You're referring to the lady horse. Yes, I have a brown Appaloosa. She's quite the seductress as horses go. Eventually, though, my goal is to get a flesh crafter involved, so we can introduce some other animals into the lineage to increase speed. Greyhounds, mostly. But if we want to go even more ambitious, I'd like to also try cheetahs, maybe a falcon, or one of those really fast lizards.
Interesting. In my medical opinion, that could be quite risky. Because when you try to use a horse to cover a cheetah, you run the risk of the whole thing blowing.
Oh, you run the risk of blowing the horse.
Blowing the cover. And it's nothing to be laughed at, Your Highness. Cover the wrong mare with the wrong stallion, and you can blow your cover.
Oh, I see.
Oh, that sounds painful.
Oh, you have no idea.
But other than that, everything seems in order. I think you're all clear to go through with the purchase.
Hold on. Shouldn't we wait?
Why do you keep checking the door?
Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to leave the dog outside.
I'm here on police business.
We have a very firm no pets policy, sir.
Admiral?
Oh, fuck!
Now let go. Good boy. Better get to a doctor. Hellhound bites are venomous.
Everyone act natural.
I knew it! I knew it! You were taking me for a ride this whole time, weren't you?
What? No, I'm just a horse doctor.
Gustav, darling, Gustav, oh, come on, be reasonable, darling.
Officer, over here! These three were trying to swindle me!
Yeah, I'm gonna fucking kill you, by the way.
He was doing a fake accent! Innocent people don't do that!
Good boy, Admiral. You're a local, are you? You don't know who these men are, huh?
I didn't at the time.
I knew you were too young to be a horse expert. And who ever heard of a woman veterinarian? Officer, my name is...
You can leave, citizen. I'm not here about whatever just happened to you.
Yes, sir. Of course.
Colette Geis, my name is Chief Inspector Zanetti of the Crystal City Police, and I'm placing you under arrest for, among other things, acts of anarchist violence against the Valorian government. Please stand up, keep your hands where I can see them, and come quietly. Eisen, Telesphore Winterlich, that goes for you too. Don't try anything cute, boys. The locks on these cuffs are warded against artifice. And as for you, Winterlich, stare at him, boy. You're coming with me to the local station, where you will be held until you can be taken to the...
Alright, what's going on here?
Who the hell are you?
Inspector Langalese with the Zurich Constabulary. I got a tip from Mr. Gustav van Amstel claiming he'd been the victim of horse fraud. Are these the suspects?
I suppose so, but that's not what I'm taking them in for. Zanetti, Crystal City Chief Inspector, though technically I'm off duty. I've been tracking them from the VSR.
That's a fine dog you got there, Zanetti. Shiny coat, beautiful tusks. They're great trackers, those elf hounds.
As Inspector Langalese stepped forward slightly and leaned in to speak to Zanetti more directly, Zanetti caught a glimpse of the officer's wrist, which was strangely bone-white compared to his face.
Look, Zanetti, I'll be frank with you. I understand you've got quotas to fill, but it's not going to reflect well on your country if you're running around arresting Valorians on foreign soil without formal extradition requests. It sets a precedent, and with the current political climate, well, you know how touchy some of our neighboring countries are these days.
Of course. What did you say your name was again?
Langalese, sir.
Interesting. I've worked with the Zurich police before. I've spoken to Langalese.
Zanetti grabbed Langalese by the arm and pulled his glove off, revealing nothing but bones and small pieces of connective tissue.
He has skin on his left arm.
You're far more perceptive than most police officers, I will give you that.
Jenny reached for Zanetti, only to find him very far out of reach. The room had suddenly grown much wider, allowing Zanetti to evade her grasp without taking a step.
It's illegal to lay a hand on an officer of the law.
Am I the only one who feels like the room is spinning?
Not spinning, being spun.
All right, there are a few too many people in this room for my liking. Everyone out! That's more like it. Now I can deal with you, Langalese.
You fucking leave her out of this.
Zanetti's gun was, like his handcuffs, warded against artifice, so Eisen could do little to disarm him. However, the White Rhinoceros Club's decor featured copious hunting trophies and war memorabilia, including a crossed pair of 19th century French sabers.
Better watch where you're throwing those things, Iron.
Eisen, behind you!
Ooh, don't worry, I've got you.
Oh, thanks, Telsey. Oh, bloody fucking nature mages again, right?
Quite. I suppose you can't trust the trajectory of anything in here.
I'll keep that in mind. And as if it wasn't bad enough on his own, what are we going to do with a fucking dog?
Eisen shot a look towards Colette, who had a brief memory of a few months ago when she had to distract some guard dogs in Vienna. In any other circumstances, she would have resisted, but desperate times called for desperate measures.
Hey! Hey, Admiral! Over here, you ugly mutt! Oh, no. You're not ugly! I take it back!
Colette! I'll look after her.
And I'll go help Jenny.
Colette made a run for it, but no matter how far she ran, the door never seemed to get any closer, even as Zanetti's loyal hound closed in. She slipped on one of the club's many lush Persian rugs, and as she struggled to gain her footing again, the Admiral loomed ever closer.
Nice doggy. Nice doggy.
Telesphore, as usual, had a revolver in his coat pocket. Unluckily for Colette, he couldn't reach it due to the handcuffs. But luckily for Colette, Telesphore's legs were just as effective as his arms, under certain circumstances.
Colette, are you all right?
I can't get up with my hands cuffed like this.
Does that make you angry? Angry enough to use the Kingmaker?
I don't know if it could reach Zanetti from here.
On the dog, Colette!
Oh!
Admiral! You bastards! He was a good dog!
Hit the deck! Oh, fucking hell. Jenny, how are you holding up?
What do you think, Eisen? I should have known better than to come here. This is why our relationship couldn't last. You're always dragging me into some situation or other. We can't ever just go for a nice walk, or have a drink, or a coffee.
I thought you liked a bit of drama in your life.
Drama is my living. I don't need any more of it when I'm off the clock, thank you very much. Speaking of which, if I botch my next audition because of this, I'll kill you. Unless I die first. That would be a bit inconvenient. Just need to get close enough to touch him, so I can cast a sleeping spell.
Even if we did have a way of getting close to him, there's no way of doing it without getting shot.
I wouldn't say that. First things first, let's free your hands so you're a little less useless. All right, soldier. I need you to take your clothes off.
Really? Here? I mean, now's not the time, Jenny, but if you want to go for it, I'm game.
Oh, take this seriously, please. And be quick about it.
Yes, ma'am.
We're sitting ducks until we get these cuffs off. I just wish the two people who could easily get us out of them weren't all the way over there.
Give me just a moment. With any luck, the chain on mine has a weak link. I might be able to break out of them.
Colette and Telesphore's conversation was cut short by Eisen walking out from behind the marble column, hands cuffed once again and raised over his head. Jenny followed close behind.
All right, Zanetti, you can stop shooting and put the room back to normal. I'm coming out.
Finally.
Right, I'll come with you, under one condition. You let the rest of them go, especially Jenny. I mean, she only got here today, man. This is the only one of her schemes she's been involved with.
Eisen!
Don't try to be a hero.
You can't be serious.
I can be, and I am.
No, I won't let you. Inspector Zanetti, if you're going to take one person here, it has to be me. I'm the one with the bomb in my head. None of these people would have been involved if they hadn't met me. The castle, all the people that have been vaporized, your dog, I'm the cause of all of it. Take me instead of him.
Ah, sweetheart, come on. Don't throw your life away for my sake, honestly. All right, Inspector. Let's get this whole fucking song and dance over with. I know how it goes.
No, she's completely right. In fact, of the three of you, I think you might be the one who Holzmann has the least interest in. But I'm happy to start by arresting you at the very least. Jesus, what the hell?
Zanetti felt something like an enormous spider crawl up his back, but before he could shake it off, Eisen's, or rather Jenny's, detached skeletal hand had already reached the exposed skin of his neck.
Oh, you crafty son of...
And scene.
See, Colette? I told you there was no need to change the plan. I can improvise with the best of them. Now, let's get out of here before the sleeping spell wears off.
And so, having ultimately gained nothing, the trio, plus Jenny, made their way back to the Grand Botanical. They knew they would have to leave as soon as possible. Aya, Winterlich and co. would need to flee to a different part of Switzerland where no one would recognize them, and Jenny would have to return to the VSR in case she got a call back. In the meantime, though, they had time for one last round of drinks.
So this is Jenny.
It's Genevra, darling. Until I know you well enough to call you a friend. Are you a fan of my work? Or has Eisen just been running his mouth again?
Right, you pay up, Maria. I've been telling you for fucking ages, she's real. Look at her.
Truly remarkable how little shame you feel despite it all. I must say, Colette, my fortune said nothing about exploding dogs or having to switch places with Eisen.
Aye, well, from what I understand, fortunes are all quite vague, are they not? in case they don't come true, which they usually don't.
It isn't divination's fault you've got no talent for it, darling.
Oh, I'm sorry. I know some people swear by it, but to me it's just as fake as fucking seances.
But they teach divination in school, Eisen. That's gotta be worth something.
I only believe in what I can see, Colette.
Well, maybe you just haven't seen any good fortune tellers.
Ah, you think so?
I do. And I think I can change your mind right here. Colette, pass me a pen and 4 of those cocktail napkins. Time for a demonstration.
Jenny opened her purse and produced a small jar of small animal bones that she had collected, cleaned, and polished over the years.
Now, normally I would do this with a proper casting cloth, but one makes do. The 4 quadrants represent 4 different aspects of life: money, love, desire, and destiny. By charting where the bones fall in the quadrants and what directions they point in, I can intuit what you want in life, where you are at this moment, and what lies on the path ahead. So, for example, the wishbone falling here denotes a person with great confidence, who believes himself to be very charming and handsome, but this jawbone here suggests that he is, in fact, only one of those things. From this spread in the Destiny quadrant, I can see that you need to be aware of great upheavals in the near future. To resist change is to invite great hardships, and there are forces out there that you don't want to attract the attention of. And keep your weather eye open, because that indicates someone close to you may not be all that they appear.
Oh, come off it. That's not what they told you. You just saying that to piss me off.
I most certainly am not. The bones have said their piece, and the bones do not lie.
Aye, sure, if you say so. Good thing I don't believe in this shite anyway.
Hey, Colette, what joke were you trying to tell me earlier?
Oh, let me think. Okay, I remember. How do you make a coat last?
I dunno. How do you make a coat last?
You make the...
All right. Well, the van is packed and has a full tank. And while I was out, I also grabbed us a copy of the evening edition.
Oh, cheers, big guy. Let's see what's going on in the world. Gelotti orders Tripoli to be annexed. Blah, blah, blah. Ooh, Marie Curie's got a Nobel Prize. Good for her. Someone sent in a photo of a chicken who picked up the farmer's cigar and started smoking it. And, it looks like President Rothbart is retiring.
What?
You must be joking. He would never.
Oh, here, let me see that.
Following the sudden death of Prime Minister Laroche, which doctors at the time attributed partially to his high-stress profession, Gerlach Rothbart made the immediate decision to step down, for his own sake. This decision was more than likely gently suggested to him by his loyal secretary, Margot Engels.
But if there's no prime minister, who's even next in line to run the country?
I'll give you 3 fucking guesses.
And to my audience, there are no prizes for guessing either. In fact, anyone familiar with Valorian history likely predicted this from the beginning, as they are no doubt more familiar with Klaus Holzmann as 4th president of the Valorian Socialist Republic than they ever were with him as supreme commander. Holzmann would give his first address to the nation at a press conference the next day regarding the former president's decision. Of the roughly 30-minute-long speech, one quote stands out above all others.
On the foundation laid for me by my predecessors, I will build a fortress. And under my leadership, I promise that the remaining great powers will finally come to see the VSR as an equal.
The Kingmaker Histories is a production of We Are Not Alive. This episode was written and audio engineered by Meg Molloy Tuten, with Foley design by Jam Wright, and executive production by Henry Galley and Ashley Craft. Our theme was written and performed by Professor Shy Guy. A full list of other music used can be found in the show notes, as can our social media links. This episode featured, in order of appearance, David Ault as the historian, Andre Canada as Father Gabriel, Bradley Gareth as Holzmann, Liz Morey as Margot, Josh Rubino as Telesphore, Taqi Nazeer as Eisen, Blythe Renay as Colette, Elizabeth Plant as Maria, Ethan Michael as Gustav, Amina Koroma as Gianni, and Gianni Matragrano as Zanetti, with additional voices by Henry Galley and Molloy Tuten. If you'd like to support the show, go to patreon.com/kingmakercast. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.